Hello, and welcome to another Saturday food support group. We have these Zoom meetings every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I just invite people to come and to share their stories because I've had so many people reach out to me in private messages and tell me their stories. And I just couldn't keep it for myself. I had to share with you all of the beautiful things that are happening when people break their addiction to sugar and carbs and processed food. And they get their brains back, they get their bodies back, they get their lives back. And they're just so excited that they can't wait to tell. And so I informed everyone that I would be recording these meetings, and I encouraged them that if they wanted to remain anonymous, that they can turn the camera off. But a lot of people they want to share. They want to share what has happened to them, and they're so excited about their new life. And then I also open it up for questions. If people are still struggling and they're still on this journey, that they can come and ask questions. But if you need more individualized care than just in a group like this, feel free to email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com, and I'll walk you through what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy the group.
Hello, happy Saturday. We have another Saturday food support group today, and I am remote. I am actually on my way to a bridal shower this morning, this afternoon. And I wanted to make sure and still have this meeting and not be late to the bridal shower. So I figured I'd just do it in the car because I can. And so we usually get together every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time, and we just talk about our experience. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes there are questions. Sometimes there are updates. So today, Emily would like to start off. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi, happy Saturday, everyone. Emily, you look beautiful for your special event today, by the way.
Thank you.
So thanks for letting me step in here and share. So as I've shared in other meetings, I've been struggling for several months with my diet, and it really has felt of a addiction nature. And so I do have a therapist and I have support groups, and that's been really great. But I do tend to struggle with confusion because there are a lot of different messages out there, but I'm willing to try a lot of different things. And so I have been trying a lot of different things. And one of my biggest mottos is never give up. I refuse to give up. This is a battle worth fighting. So that's a victory. I refuse to, continue to be feeling so inflamed and low energy. I really do want to resolve this issue. So in the past week, I've sort of been coming a little more around to the idea that maybe trying to jump into carnivore is a little too ambitious. Basically from where I'm at, that would be like cold turkey dropping from like 400 carbs a day down to like next to nothing is just a little too intense. And I'm a mother of 5, and I really need to have my patience and stability to be able to function and take my best care of them. So I've been thinking about doing the, slow cutback, and I have tried that. And the issue I've had is because of the nature of addiction, if I keep any of it, I just want more. So I'll cut back a few days, and then I just go back to, the 400 gram mark, which seems to be sort of like my bliss point, is to have that amount each day. And so I had this sort of like revelation after messaging with Amy today. And she was talking about what she's done with her kids. Who have, gone places and eaten higher carb and then come home. And I got to thinking, like, maybe I should sort of like treat myself a little bit like she treats her kids, And the word that really was like light bulb for me was when she said rice. And I was like, maybe the problem I have is that I'm trying to cut back carbs, but I'm keeping the most like addictive carbs while I'm cutting back. Maybe what I need to do is swap my carbs to less addictive carbs, for example, like rice instead of pasta, and keep track of it on my food journal, so I know that like I'm kind of roughly around where I've been lately, which is 400 grams, and then see how my body responds when I'm trying to cut back that type of carb instead of like, the sugary, I don't want to say like too many trigger words, but like the higher sugar, more processed, highly addictive types.
You can talk freely. Don't worry about triggering. Don't worry about triggering.
So like bread, bagels, pasta, sugar, like sort of like the cocaine of the carb world, like the,
yeah.
Right? So like maybe that's why I can't succeed with the slow cutback, is because the type of carbs I'm keeping in are just way too hard to reduce. So that was just sort of like this light bulb moment that I wanted to bring up in the group session and see what others might think about. Like, does that make sense? Like, is that logical?
Totally. I mean, if you think about it, okay, say you're a drug addict, and you've been addicted to heroin and cocaine and weed and alcohol. And so, you just choose the lesser of two evils. And I would think it would be a much better choice. Number one, it's legal to drink alcohol and to smoke weed in most places. And it's less likely that you're going to completely ruin your life like you would if you were shooting up heroin. And so I get what you're saying, that it taps into a different part of your brain whenever you're going for like the pasta and the cookies and the donuts and the bagels and everything that you listed. And it's not as fun to eat a cup of rice. So I'm not trying to take the fun out of it. I'm just trying to take the addiction out of it. And so I think that is a brilliant idea. Also, what I love about that is that it allows you to operate in success, because compliance is the goal. The goal is not to be this superhuman, perfect carnivore at all. Like, I got to be totally honest with you guys. If I could eat avocados, if I could eat any other foods besides beef and beef fat, I would. If I could eat egg yolks right now, I would. I just happen to be really sick with my autoimmune disease. So I think that it's very important to operate in compliance, and you get to write the script. Nobody else is writing Emily's script. Nobody else is saying, oh, you failed because you had a cup of rice. No, that was the plan. The plan was a cup of rice, and I won. I am totally winning on this. And I think it's more important to operate in success and to operate in that belief in yourself than to go, oh, I failed. Oh, I failed again. Oh, I'm a failure. Does that help? What do you think, Em?
Yeah, I do like the idea of succeeding for sure. And I think that would boost my self-confidence, because I definitely have been feeling like a failure lately. So I guess the reason why I was questioning myself this morning, like after it clicked, was because I've been told by people that I am thinking from the addiction part of my brain. And so a lot of my justifications or, thought processes are sort of existing to keep the addiction going. And so that's why I wanted to see, what you guys would say because I almost need someone outside of me to be like, you know what? Yeah, that does sound good. I don't think that's the addiction part of your brain speaking, if that
Well,
makes sense.
speaking of addiction, we have a professional here with us. So Andia, do you have anything to add to this conversation?
Yeah, I was actually trying to find the raise hand button. I
saw it in your face.
I was like, so I just wanted to speak to the piece at the beginning, Emily, when you were saying that you wanted to, you thought it was you were jumping really far going from, this carb addicted place to carnivore. And I tell you, only like 3 weeks ago, because I suffer from addiction to methamphetamines and food myself. And so I've been 14 years in recovery from the meth, but I haven't been that long in the food piece. So I'm only like 3 weeks into this. But one of the biggest highlight moments for me is remembering that with addiction, a lot of us share what is called black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. So what we do is we get a little bit of motivation, and then we're like, okay, yesterday I ate 400 carbs. Now today I'm eating carnivore. And like for me, I kept trying to do that and I kept failing. There was like a little bit of addicted food in the house still. So I was like, okay, so let me just like finish this up and then I'm going to do the thing. And so I just had to realize I needed community. And it's no accident that as soon as I started, that I got past my shame and I came to a group, I was able to just really baby step and just be like, okay, this is what I ate today. I didn't start tracking or anything. And I just was like, this is what I'm going to do today. And I was just like what Emily was just saying, like feeling like I was succeeding. And then the next day I had one little tiny goal that I would do. And that's how because I was only 3 weeks ago, like exactly where you are speaking from right now, I was in the same boat. And so that I just want to speak to myself and what helped me. So you can take that or leave it. But definitely I had to just be reminded that like, this is my addict brain talking to me, trying to keep me in my disease. And that's why I was hanging on like that. And also I didn't need to jump right into carnivore. Like I did not have to do that. That was my addict brain telling me like it was the all or nothing. So for me, I just had to take it slow. And my ultimate goal maybe is to be that, depending on my body. Like, what is my body going to tell me? Because what I keep hearing over and over is I need to listen to my body. So I don't even know if carnivore is going to be the way I go, or if I'm going to be keto carnivore, or if whatever. And I just have to surrender to the process and know that that goal will come when my, like, as my body like tells me, because I don't have to all or nothing thinking, because having that goal for me of being this perfect carnivore or whatever is like, to me, for me, that's part of my addiction. Like, I don't have to be that goal right now. Like my goal is just to track right now and get into good habits. And that's going to take time.
And to be in community.
And to be in community, exactly. And that's going to take time, because I've been addicted to food ever since I was 13 doing yo-yo diet. And that's from trauma, from bullies and stuff. And I've literally been living in that mindset, and I don't have to anymore. And anyway, I could just keep going on a soapbox.
Thank you, Andia.
Other people to share.
Thank you so much. Very helpful. Amy, did you have anything that you wanted to add to this? Brilliant idea, by the way, with the white rice. I've used that before.
I'm so excited. She was messaging me this morning and she goes, I have an idea. And I almost said, well, don't hold it. Like, tell me. And then she was like, I'm going to share it this morning. I was like, oh, okay, I'll be patient. I'll wait. That is genius. Because what we're always saying is you need to find the replacement. And you broke it down not to, this is carbs, this is protein, this is fat. You broke it down even further than that this is the bliss point carb.
Ooh.
And this is a not so terrible carb because it's not as addictive. It doesn't have that bliss point of, the sugar and the fats and the salt and everything else. It's boring. It's white rice. And that is absolutely genius to go, well, if I can't replace carbs with, something else or just reduce it, then let's replace it with something else. And that's always the goal, is to find a replacement. You want to find for your drugs, you got to find a replacement. You got to find community. You have to find these things. I am blown away by that genius. And I'm so glad. I almost didn't even say anything about my kids because I was like, I mean, it doesn't really apply, but it kind of applies. So, I'll share that anyways. That is incredible. So congratulations. Like, you thought of it on a totally different level. And I am absolutely going to be using that moving forward with my other clients that are really struggling in the same way, because it makes so much sense. So I need you to pat yourself on the back, because that was incredible. I love it. And I think that maybe this could be the secret to your success. That this is, you were still taking too big of steps. Reducing the amount of carbs was still too big of a first step. Like Andia said, it has to be tiny little micro steps. We're just like sliding the foot forward, just a tiny bit. And that is genius. So I'm so excited to see what happens with this. And I'm rooting for you, and don't ever hesitate to reach out, and we can brainstorm together and come up with the next really big idea.
Thank you so much. And thank you for, having those words come out right at the right time and, triggering that thought. So teamwork.
That was all God. God said, say it. And I was like, I don't need to say that. Okay. I'm not going to argue. See? Brilliant.
And what I really love about this is that that's the whole point of community, is that, we inspire each other, and it takes two people or more to have a conversation. And whenever you have a conversation, you will be shocked what comes up, what comes out of that. And so, Emily, what I love is that it came out of your intuition, but it was spurred by Amy's words. And so that just gives more confirmation that we need each other. Awesome. Thanks for that
Absolutely.
example.
Yeah. Thank you.
Layla. Hello, from Belgium.
Yes, hi. I decided I would like to add something to that.
Great. I'm sure you have something brilliant to add. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I am literally on the edge of my seat right now. Go ahead.
So, Emily, the other Emily, the Freedom Emily, thank you so much for what you shared. And I think the whole topic of addiction is such an important one. And I've been looking for solutions for my addictions or my addictive behaviors for a couple of decades, probably. And I've reached out to several things, substances, in terms of addictions. And what my findings are so far is that it really mattered to me, to help me to really have the right context for addictions, to really know what is that actually an addiction. And what I'm finding is that when I reach for something that I know is not good for me, what happens in my body and in my spirit or in my consciousness is I'm unable to stay present for the feelings that I'm having. I can't stay present, so I reach for something outside of myself. So the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection.
Oof.
It's connection to yourself, to God, or however you experience that, spirituality, whatever your word is for that, or your concept is for that. And so what helps me, what I learned to recognize when I feel a craving or when the cravings hit hard, it's really about, I'm having a lot of feelings that I can't process, that my body is like no capacity. And what helps me is to then have a friend listen to me, hold sacred space for me, or some kind of therapist or practitioner, but it really mattered to me how they hold space. Like if they try to fix me or if they try to give me unsolicited advice, that's not helpful. I need help to literally process my feelings. And that doesn't really look the same all the time. Sometimes I need to express my feelings in a somatic way, like literally scream in a pillow or just go for a walk, or whatever the impulses I feel in my body that want to be expressed. And sometimes I just need to talk. Sometimes I just need to tell my story, and I just need to hear myself. And so the thing is, what I do as a job is I facilitate this kind of inner work with people, and I notice that my clients need a variety of things to get those feelings processed so that they can stay connected to themselves and to the universe, whatever you want to call that, so that they can stay in that non-survival mode brain, and then it's much easier to make a decision from that space to say, okay, I'm gonna reach for something healthy, instead of something unhealthy. But when you go into survival mode, when those cravings hit hard, it's a lost cause. It's like, it's so hard to then try to force yourself to do the right thing. Then it's much gentler for yourself to say, okay, can't do it right now, so I'm gonna try and reach for the thing that's less or least damaging, just gonna do my best and just be gentle with yourself. Just have really deep compassion with yourself and say, all right now, because it's like when my brain goes into survival mode, it's kind of too late to say, no, I want to do the right thing, because it's so forceful then, and it's kind of re-traumatizing at times as well. So yeah, so what I'm just attempting to do myself for my body, for my health, is to gather as much self-care and community as possible and support as possible to avoid getting to the stage of, oh, I'm in survival mode now, it's too late. So I just wanted to share that. And I'm curious how that resonates with everyone.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Anybody want to say how that resonated with you?
I can definitely see truth in that from my personal experience, because I definitely, when I'm coming off my, food, addictive foods, trying to do the whole cold turkey, it's like absolutely everything that's not ordered in my life is like hitting me. I feel it all, whether it's, a bill that needs to be paid, or, a fall activities I need to sign up for my kids, or meal plan I never finished, or it's like everything just bombards me, and then I escape because it's like, that's too much. So that definitely resonates with me for sure.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, Layla, about being gentle. And it's not gentle to jump into carnivore, going from 400 carbs to that. Like, that's re-traumatizing. So, and Layla and I had a conversation before about cravings, and she gave me a perspective on it that a craving, I looked at it as this like bad thing that needed to be mitigated and removed. And she gave me the perspective of, what if you look at it more like a child? And if my child was throwing a tantrum because they needed attention, I wouldn't want to mitigate the child and remove the child. I would go to the child and go, okay, baby, what's going on? Why are you throwing this fit? What do you need in this moment right now? How can I serve you? And so I think it's really important to approach this gently instead of so harshly to say, no, it's August whatever, August 21st, and we're doing carnivore today. Like, no, like, just be gentle, and to gently sit with that craving and that emotion and explore why it's there, not necessarily the fact that you want it to go away. So yes, thank you, Layla. That was brilliant, and just amazing. Thank you so much. Rosa.
Hi. Yeah,
Hello.
I wanted to say that I really, really can relate to everything that Layla was saying. Struggling with addiction myself, with the food and the alcohol. And it wasn't really until I started really digging deep with the spiritual stuff and getting to know myself and going through all that I was able to release from the food and the alcohol. And each time I've quit, alcohol, that was one thing that I kept going back to, was the sugar. I had these deep like cravings for sugar, and I was like, well, it's better than drinking, right? I can have this and I can have chocolate, and I knew how bad it would affect me, though. It would, I would not feel good when I would eat those things. And so for me, that really resonated like so much. And then the other thing is that, the stronghold that the food has on us, it's often worse. Like for me, it was like almost worse than the alcohol addiction, because because it was okay. And everyone, it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. And, oh, you're not drinking, so would you like this instead? And it's often like a lot of sweet drinks. And so that's been like the biggest struggle for me, is I just don't, I quit everything in like 2015 because I had to. My body was rejecting everything I ate. Like I had really bad candida overgrowth, like yeast overgrowth and leaky gut. And so my body was like acting like it was allergic to everything, basically, and digestive issues and all that. So for me, I had to quit all the carbs and everything. And it was really, really hard. Like it was really hard on my body. And alcohol, all that at once, and that's why I would advise people, if they want to switch to like go low carb first, and keto. And if you want to eventually go to carnivore, you can do that, but really take it gradually, because I really suffered. It was very hard on my body. But sometimes you look at, your health, like your health goals. And that was what I was looking at. It's like, I want to get better. I want this, what I was dealing with to be healed and to go away. And I still struggle with it, sometimes. So, but what I wanted to share about today was, I have been having a really hard time, and that's why I showed up to this group. And an addiction has showed up in my life, like time and time again, through losing people.
Through what?
Through loss, basically.
Losing people. Got it.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't hear.
Oh, no, it's okay. And so I lost a very dear friend this past week. Sorry, I might cry a little bit.
It's okay. And she was very young. It was unexpected.
Well,
okay.
and the thing was, is I knew that she was sick. And I just didn't realize, and she didn't want to share it with me. She didn't want to burden any of the things she was going through on me. So she did share that she had been struggling with alcoholism for over 3 years. And she'd always looked at me as somebody who I had, all the success with being sober, even though, I would be sober for a long time and then relapse, kind of that cycle. But she looked at all the things I was doing, and she just felt like she wasn't enough. Like she she always felt like she wasn't enough. And I was always telling her that I loved her so much and that she was worthy and she was enough. But yeah, she was an alcoholic, and she shared with me that she had been diagnosed with fatty liver disease in her 20s. But she had never been advised to change anything. So she went about her life. And she never changed anything. And she did eat, you know, high sugar, you know, I don't know everything that she ate, but I know that she kind of was addicted to carbs and sugar. And I don't know if she really changed a lot of that. And I hope that, you know, through watching me, you know, throughout the years, that some of what I was doing rubbed off on her. And but so she developed cirrhosis of the liver. Last year she was admitted to the ICU, and you know, her stomach was extremely bloated, she shared with me, but she didn't want to be there. So she went home, and because, you know, they had her on a lot of pain medicine, and she just didn't like that. And I think that she had lost hope, because I talked to her and I said, well, what can we do to reverse this? Is there, you know, a way that we can reverse this? And she, you know, she said that she was going down to like 1 drink a night, and that she was trying to cut out red meat and sugar. And I was thinking, well, I don't know, you need to stop drinking, you know? And I don't, you know, I don't know if she ever did. Because she just wouldn't share with me what was going on. I think she accepted the fact that she wasn't going to make it out of this. And so she did get to go do some fun things. She went to Hawaii, and got to see the sea turtles. And I'm really glad that she got to do that. But it was just, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. When you lose, I've known her for 31 years of my life, you know? And so like the easy thing would be to go back into my addiction, but I know that that's not the right thing. And I know I'm not going to do that. And I'm really focused. For me, I'm focused on healing right now. And I know part of that is to do what I'm doing right now, is to share. And it's like a really hard life lesson, is I think like this could have been me. I could be the one with my organs failing. And that's kind of what happened with her towards the end. All her organs just failed, and she died. And it's really hard. And so I'm just really glad I can come to you guys and kind of get some insight. So thank you for listening.
But you're here. You're here. You and I personally know that you rearranged your schedule today to be here. And so that means so much to me, that you know that you are welcome and that you are safe. But what I love about this is that you have been given a gift in this experience. And I know that it sounds so horrible of me to say that any loss is a gift. And I don't want to re-injure you at all in any way, shape, or form. And I hope all you hear is my absolute deep, undying love for you. But this is a very real and present picture of what is not going to be your future for your son, for your family.
Yes.
And so as much as I don't want her life to be lost at all, I am grateful I can celebrate yours. I can have complete joy and victory and gratefulness that you are here and that you are going to continue to shine your light. And you are going to continue to be here.
Yes. And actually, I've been thinking that, well, this whole time I've lost other people. My mom, she has had actually a couple husbands that have died from alcohol. And so I've seen that happen. I've seen it, I've seen it happen. And that was what was motivating me the few times, each time I quit, I kept thinking, I don't want that to be me. It's the same reason I quit smoking cigarettes. I had 2 of my grandmas that had cancer. And I always get these reminders, and I know they're life lessons. I agree with that. I know every trauma we experience, everything is meant for a lesson, a reason. And it's the big reason why when my body just started freaking out, in 2015, and I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I still don't know all the things. But I just keep thinking, like, if I don't do something right now, I'm gonna die. Like, when our bodies start freaking out, that's a sign of dysfunction. Of eventually, you don't know. Autoimmune diseases usually take like 10 years or so to diagnose. And then by that time, they're so bad, and it's hard to reverse. So I know that this is a lesson. And I'm trying not to go into like the regret and the I shoulda, woulda, coulda. So today is my self-care day. And last night I was able to sit with myself. I went and took a bath, Epsom salt bath. I put the whole bag in. Yes, those help me so much. And those are what I use, like when I need to just decompress and I need to sit with myself. And I've been like just so busy with work and all the things I need to do that I haven't had a chance all week to sit with myself. And that was what I really needed. And to share with you guys too. So this is my therapy.
Well, I am privileged and honored to hold this space for you. And I'm so grateful for your bravery to share what you're experiencing. And I celebrate your friend. I celebrate her life. I celebrate all the joy that she brought you and that you brought her, because that's the whole reason we're on this earth, is to commune with each other. And to connect. So, and I'm so grateful that I get to be your friend.
Yes, and I really appreciate you, Emily. You've really helped me a lot.
No problem.
Thank
you
for holding the space for me. And I'm sorry to be a downer.
No, you are not a downer at all.
But I do think this is a big lesson with addiction, is we can go. You don't know what's going on in your body. And then if you add these toxins, these chemicals, like sometimes it is too late and you can't go back,
Yeah. Great reminder. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to add to the conversation today? Either a question or go ahead, Andia. I'm going to have to teach you how to raise your hand.
Oh, I figured it out.
Oh, good.
I'll lower it now.
No, you're fine.
So, Rosa, I just want to say I am so sorry that you lost someone to this nasty disease of addiction, but I wanted to just play on something that Emily said, and that how we can look at this as a gift. And it is 100% normal for each and every one of us in this group to want to go back to using or sugar or cravings or sad diet or whatever it is for you when we have super intense feelings, because that's what we do to numb. That was our old coping skill. And I just wanted to like shout this out as a gift you gave this whole freaking group today, because I think we always need to be reminded that when we're really super happy and when we're really super sad, so this spectrum of feelings, When we're in the middle, we're probably following our goals and doing all the things. But when we get really, really happy or really, really sad, those super intense feelings, we're going to want to go back. And that's a reminder to connect. And that's what you did today as part of your self-care day, is you used connection. And I swear to God, Layla, I would say the opposite of addiction is connection, like 80 times in every single group I've ever ran. So that speaks to this. And I just thank you so much for sharing today and being so vulnerable. I love you. I don't know you, but I gave you my phone number, and if you need it. Okay, I'll shut up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think that's so true, Andia. It's that those extremes, extreme sadness and extreme joy, those are the danger zones. That's like the red flag. Like when you're in like the regular kind of a day, it's just like, oh, okay, we're cool. You know, we're going about our business, but be very aware of what's happening when you have extreme joy and extreme sadness, or any extreme emotions, anger, frustration, fear. Whenever like something like you almost, had a car accident, or you almost lost a loved one or something, and that fear is just like, okay, I gotta go eat something. I gotta go use. And I experienced that actually this week. I was celebrating, and it was very intentional. Like I planned it. I was like, I am going to go and I am going to eat a big steak. Like it was like basically double what I usually eat in a day, and a sweet potato, because I know that sweet potatoes don't give me mental illness. They don't give me the anxiety or depression. But oh my goodness, it totally ruined my numbers as far as my blood glucose and my ketones. And it's taken me, I'm still like 4 days out, 3 days out, and I'm still like digging out of that hole. But it was extreme joy. That's so crazy. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Andia. Go ahead, Emily.
Sorry, the chat box is covering the mute button. Okay. I just want to get clarification on the connection, like the opposite of addiction being connection. Layla, did you mean like connecting with your emotions instead of running away from them, or connecting with your people, or both?
All of it. I mean,
All of it.
ultimately, it's connection with yourself, the connection with yourself that you're supposed to maintain. But connecting with a safe group of community can help that, or at least is a better substitute. If that connection with yourself is difficult to maintain, then that would be in my humble opinion and experience, the next best thing.
So how, like, just to give an example from my own life, and just sort of wanting to know how that looks practically, I'm super frustrated with my children who are fighting and misbehaving, and I'm feeling these strong emotions of anger because I've cut back my carbs too fast, which of course I'm going to not do anymore. So maybe that scenario hopefully won't come up again, but let's say it does at some point in my journey. And so I'm having these really strong emotions. Actually, you know what? I'm going to not use that example because I'm not going to do the drastic jumping anymore. So I shouldn't feel like Monster Mom again. So let's go back to the feeling the emotions of like the to-do list. The to-do list is overwhelming. Everything that is not organized, not, in order. How does that look if, like, I don't have a friend I can call? My husband really doesn't understand it, so I don't really want to talk to him about it. My support groups aren't available at 10 p.m. Like, how do you do the connecting in that moment when there's like no one around to talk to?
What a fantastic question. I could teach a week-long seminar on just that,
Oh,
answering that. But just to
fair
summarize,
enough.
so that's one answer, right? Like, do not expect, if you've never done this before, don't expect to just be able to do it like that. I'm open to it being possible, just to say, you never know, right? Because everything's possible. But like, for me, it took me years to actually know how to sit with my own feelings. Years. Because as a child, I was taught that whatever I was feeling, not valid, not important. So I was raised to systematically suppress my feelings. That was my default setting. So to come out of that, you know, it's a journey. It can be a journey. So to answer your question directly, like, what does that look like? Well, nowadays I can sit with myself. I can feel, I can become aware of, uh-oh, I'm on my way. I'm getting overwhelmed. And then I know I need to stop everything, and I just sit with myself and I just breathe. You know, I put my hand on my heart and I just breathe until I feel my body physically calm down. And it can take 5 minutes, but sometimes it can take 10 minutes. And sometimes I need to put on music so I can actually stay present for it. And sometimes I can't stay present for it. And then I'm like doing whatever, scrolling on my phone. That's, you know, reaching for the addiction. But so when I can't stay present, you know, I breathe, my body calms down, and then I can ask myself, okay, what am I feeling? And then I can describe my feelings to myself. Sometimes I say them out loud, sometimes I record myself, audio, video, just so I can witness myself better. So I can hear myself really, like, what am I feeling? What am I experiencing in this moment? And I've learned to give myself like 100% permission to be completely uncensored, right? Like, doesn't matter. You know, sometimes the feelings I'm feeling are really ugly. Sometimes I'm like really projecting on somebody who pissed me off or something like that. But it's really important in that container, in that safe container, to be completely uncensored, because that's the only way I'm really going to find out what am I experiencing, right? And so what I've also learned is that underneath the feelings are unmet needs, right? So then I ask myself, okay, so what do I need in this moment? What do I need? And sometimes it's like, with your to-do list, it's like, I don't want to do these things. I don't feel I have the capacity to do it. And then I need to, like, I mean, what am I going to do? Force myself to do it anyway? No, I'm going to like sit with my to-do list and say, okay, what's reasonable? What's really urgent? What would make me completely happy if this could be done? And then, you know, because of that gentleness and the forcefulness being gone, the pressure being off, I'm finding myself being a lot more willing to actually negotiate with myself and say, okay, well, all right, let's do the cleaning because that will feel really good in the end, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, I don't know, let's create this content for my business on social media, whatever, because that'll feel good, whatever it is. And, you know, that's like a new, I mean, if you've never done that before, really look at it as a new muscle that you're starting to develop. And it's really okay to kind of also enter in a mourning process over this, because when I first learned about this, I was like really pissed off that it was going to take time to develop this. I was like, I wanted it immediately. I was like, but so that too is a valid feeling to have, you know, and just meet that with the most, yeah, gentleness and compassion that you have, like how you would treat a little kid, indeed, you know, because ultimately it is kind of like your inner child, right? That's like, a lot of times these things that come up for us are undeveloped parts. There are parts from childhood that could not get developed because the adults around us were not facilitating that. So they remain stuck. And so that's why sometimes you have these this resistance against the most mundane or trivial looking tasks in your day to day. And your adult mental mind sometimes tends to judge that and say, come on, that's not hard, just do it. But that's not helpful for a child. A child is not going to get motivated by saying, come on, just do it. No, it needs your compassion and your understanding, and it needs to know that you're going to love it no matter what. If it can do it or cannot do it, it's going to get loved and their needs met. Was that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Layla. It was beautiful. Andia, we've just got a couple more minutes. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, just really quick. So the connecting piece, I love absolutely everything that Layla just said.
Yeah.
But, when we connect with a human, even if it's like texting, calling, we're not going to call someone when we're in like crisis mode and we have those really angry feelings if we haven't been doing it when we're comfortable. So reaching out and connecting to people, literally, it weakens our addiction in our brain. There's studies around it. So I just put my cell phone in the chat, and I don't know what time zone you are. So logistically speaking, if it's 10 at night, it's only 8 p.m. here. Never feel bad if you are reaching out. You are reaching out because you need help. Even the act of texting, guess what? That just made you accountable, and your addiction don't like that. So I know we're running out of time, and I want to be able to give Tom a second here. So I just wanted to add that.
Yes, I love that. And what I really like also is that we have no excuse. All we have to do is send a message on social media. And what that does is that puts a pin in it. That just puts a pin in it. And it's okay if they're not going to respond until the next day. You've already reached out. You've already communed with someone. We're just waiting on the response. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to say, before you go to your bridal shower, I just want everybody, no running makeup or anything like that. I was trying to think of a joke I could tell you to make you smile, everybody be happy. I did try for a third time today with a little immersion thing.
Oh my gosh, did you videotape it?
At this time, my wife made me put it in the sink. So I found a little secret I can do to keep it from splashing up on my face. And my wife's like, well, why don't you just get your bigger cup like this and not fill it up all the way, and then you do it, and then you pour it in the coffee cup. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So that's what I'm going to do next time. So I just wanted to end today with a little bit more of a jovial thing that happened. My usual tomfoolery, stupid stuff that I do. So.
I love it. I love it. I really do. I do wish that you had a video of it, of the coffee splashing up in your, not hot coffee, but stuff splashing in your face. I love the physical, like, slapstick comedy. That's great. Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you every single one of you that came today and that shared the vulnerability and the depth that I'm witnessing here is such a gift to me. It's so beautiful. And someone just recently said that they were trying to find the definition of spirit and the definition of soul, and all that they could come up with was depth. And I really believe that it makes sense. Like, it totally makes sense. And so that's why I love that we can go a mile deep into these conversations. And that's where I believe true unconditional love lives. And so thank you so much for experiencing love with me, and allowing me to love you, because whenever I see you, I can love you. And whenever you see me, you can love me. It's this beautiful connection. And it's like the antidote to addiction, to love, and to have that unconditional love and to connect. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. I got to get to this bridal shower, and I will See you next week. Bye.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the group. There is always so much beauty in being transparent and in really recognizing that we're all not alone on this journey. And so if you want to, feel free to join the Saturday support groups. They're every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you need more individualized care, then reach out to me and email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com. And I would love to walk through and show you what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right.